Hey, Gator Nation. Welcome back to the Respect Our Decision podcast. This is our raw reaction video for the Florida Gators 49-7 victory over McNeese State last night. Guys, feels good to be back in the win column, albeit against a much inferior opponent. It's always awesome. So, guys, as always, I'm your host, Hirsch. With me is my co-host, CJ, the man McCann.
What's up, guys?
And the hype man, Wes.
What's good, Gator Nation?
Yes, sir. Gator Nation, make sure you go out, download us wherever you get your podcast from. And as always, if you're watching on the YouTube channel, go ahead and drop a subscribe on the channel if you haven't already. Drop a like on the video and leave your comment in the comment section about how you felt about last night's win. What was your favorite part of the victory? All right, guys, let's jump right into it. Obviously, we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on this one, guys. We weren't playing a mighty opponent this week. The Gators did what they should have done. They went out from the very first drive. They took the kickoff and did what we wanted to see the Gators do. Ran the ball, ran it effectively, did not hurt themselves in any way, shape, or form. Was really happy with the discipline that I saw in the game last night overall. I mean, obviously, once again, you're not playing a tremendous opponent here, but 2 penalties for 10 yards. I mean, that's fantastic. That's a great, change of pace over what we saw last week. Obviously, there's still some concerns. Game changers. We're looking at you. But we're just going to go around the table and say what you like and what maybe you'd like to see and cleaned up as Tennessee comes to town next weekend. Wes, I'm going to throw it to you first, man. I know you were really happy to see the run game get going. Give us your thoughts.
Yeah, I think Billy listened to our podcast last week and was like, okay, guys, I know y'all said Montreal only had 1 carry last week in the first half. I'll fix that for you guys this week. If any fan thought we were going to come out and just throw it all over the yard and do all that stuff with Tennessee on the horizon, you were sadly mistaken and shouldn't have expected that. To me, I was very, 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 very happy with the reps that the O-line got. And what I mean by that, running the ball, lining up correctly. Okay, if I'm the left guard, I'm Richard Leonard, or if I'm Slaughter, or if I'm Mazuka or Barber, if I'm pulling, this is the guy I need to get. So all those reps in the run game, which is the team that we all thought coming in the year that we needed to be. On the broadcast, I heard the announcer say, Billy said 2, 7, and 3. We need to get those. It is not an area code. So those are the guys we need to get the ball in their hands. And we saw that last night. I just love the reps for the O-line, building that unity. I talked about how it's different in scrimmages, even though you're going to get your own team than being live. And then to get all those reps over and over and over again, it's something that I think is going to be our identity with running the ball and doing a lot of play action with Mertz. I loved it. I don't think he got sacked at all last night. I don't know if he was pressured to hurry last night. So they kept him clean back there. We love that from the offense. We did a lot of screen stuff because we're not going to show anything for Tennessee to scout us for next week. They're going to scout that basic offense last night, and that's all it took to win. And if you can do your basic, probably week 1 install type of stuff of training camp in a game and an overpowered opponent, then you will do that. If you don't have to pull out stuff that another team next week on the horizon that can scout you for, it's perfect. We did take a deep shot late. I think Mert's last drive to Ricky, that was a basic play as well. Just basically almost a go route or a post route, which she caught. So thrilled to see 2, 7, and 3 get involved in the game. There's nothing really to say about the defense. Wish they could have gotten that shutout. We had that 1 turnover at the end. I don't care who it is on the field. You don't want that. You want a clean game. Hirsch mentioned the 2 penalties for 10 yards. Game changers. I'm not even going to talk about it right now. It hurts us, but it did hurt us last week. But yeah, I loved everything. And just as far as the defense, I'll say this about the defense, and I'll pass it to you and CJ. It's good. And Hirsch, and I'll save this for you too, because you tweeted it. It's good to see active, fast linebackers. And I can't. And Bateman is going to get some elite ones next year coming in here. And we already knew, we say Shamar James was elite. Scooby looks like a totally different cat on the field.
Absolutely.
So I just and I'll just leave it at that because I think Herschel, you're probably going to speak to that later
No,
on.
you're by all means,
Yeah,
y'all drop whatever y'all want
I just,
because we all saw
that's
the same things last night. I think we
yeah. I
all
just love the they're so freaking fast, man. So we
I
haven't had
love
that in a
the
while.
fact that they don't hesitate. They don't seem to have the hesitancy that we had in years past. When they see the ball, they attack the ball,
Yeah, man.
but they do it with discipline. And
Yep.
and there's a difference. And anyone that knows football knows there's a difference in just attacking the ball. Looking at you, Brenton Cox, and attacking the ball with discipline. And
And they're
making sure that
violent.
when the quarterback rolled out and Scooby got his sack, he made sure his zone was covered first, and when he knew there was no one in his zone, he attacked the quarterback, and that's how you should play it. That's very disciplined football.
And before I end it with this, they are violent as well. They are Scooby, especially. He's a violent player, so I love that. And I'll end that with that. Bateman got it.
All right, CJ.
There's a lot of good stuff you saw last night. I think Austin Barber had a really great game on the offensive line. You heard his name a lot, doing what we thought he would do. Jake Slaughter had a better game than he did last week. Naaman George played better than he did last week. Richie Leonard looks like he could be an all-conference player here in the first couple of weeks, the way he's been playing. Micah Mazuka, that was the main thing. You wanted to see clean execution by your offensive line. And people could say whatever they want to about the opponent, and I understand, but I and you guys as well have been witness to over the last few years. You see teams like this come into the swamp, and we're in a dogfight with them up until the middle of the third quarter or even into the fourth quarter.
Sanford, we're looking at you.
Samford, FAU coming here, that's USF last year. Just teams that aren't supposed to really be in a dogfight with us, all the way up and up until the end of the game. They treated it like we're going to just overpower you. We're going to run the football. And then they pretty much just beat them up, broke their will, broke their back. And then the rest of the game, you could just do whatever you wanted to do. And that was a great game plan. We saw Mertz do some good stuff. We saw Mertz do some kind of stuff. Nothing really crazy. He was solid, didn't turn the ball over, didn't make bad decisions with the football. Again, nobody's going to get on here and tell you that Graham Mertz is a Heisman Trophy winner. But if we can see Graham Mertz consistently doing what he's been doing the last couple of weeks, it is conducive to winning football games. He's not gonna lose you football games if he does this. That's the main thing. You want to make sure he's out there and he's not hurting you. He's just kind of mastering the offense. We got to see a heavy dose of Trey Wilson, which is good. We saw the different ways we could use him, making sure that you get him out of the backfield and make sure that we had the end around the fake reverse. Him going around, that's a pretty good game plan, a pretty good play to have on film for other teams, because now they're going to be looking at Eugene Wilson, on that play. So that opens up the bevy of other things that you can do with your other playmakers now. Trayon Webb looked really good. And what he got, he did not look like a freshman. He looked like a kid who wasn't scared. I mean, he went in there and he probably take. It looked like his attitude is he's going to take on hell with a squirt gun. He's just ready to play football. So good on him for coming in, not being hesitant, tiptoeing around, wanting to play, wanting the football. So good job by him. Trevor Etienne looked like Trevor Etienne. Montrell Johnson looked like Montrell Johnson. That's kind of what you want to see against these teams. The defense. There was some things that, especially the first drive, it was just little stuff, the jumping off sides by Amon Mielen. He got to clean that up, but he made up for it on the next couple of plays. So good on him for that. You want to see, Jaden Hill, he missed a read there, on an interception that could have been. You got to get to the ball quicker. You got to be able to identify that faster, especially the guy like Jaden Hill who's been here as long as he's been here. You've got to be able to make those kind of plays. Those are routine against McNeese. That's to the house. You don't get many opportunities like that. So you've got to clean that up. Jakeem Jackson and his limited snaps looked really good, identifying, high pointing the ball, making 2 pass breakups. Looks like a kind of guy that you could really lean on to kind of force some turnovers. The way he plays the football to get his hand on it. So really good by him. We're still seeing the tight ends being used. I want to see some more Arliss Boardingham. We did see him make a catch there at the end of the game, and he looked really good. I'm hoping that he gets more burn next week against Tennessee, because I feel like if you can get him in there and throw him some of the balls that you're throwing Sanders and Odom, you can kind of take that a little further. But no, as far as like the entire game goes, if we wanted to, we could have scored 100, on McNeese. It just wasn't like they were stopping us. It's just, okay, well, we've got the lead early. We're just going to play with the lead, and we're going to try some things. We're going to try to execute well, which is the main thing we were talking about going into the game, is just execute. And that's what they did. They said, we're gonna run this play, and we're going to get this right, because we got a chance now with live football against a team that really isn't going to, push back now that we've pretty well broke their will at this point, to really start working on cleaning up some simple things. I'm still in the camp that wants to shoot Chris Couch into the sun. It just dumb stuff on the special teams. Rocco Underwood snapping the ball over the holder's head, which is something you never want to happen. That's just basic, especially with Rocco being here as long as Rocco's been here. That's something that shouldn't happen. That's routine. We've been here forever. That should be rinse and repeat. It should be almost muscle memory at this point to make that play. But other than that, most everything else was positive. You had the fumble by a guy who, if Battle, no offense to Battle, but if Battle ever sees the field in live, meaningful reps, then that means we're in a bad spot with the other running backs, that they've, either been injured or something like that. So I wouldn't put too much stock into it. Sure, you want to see him hold on to the football. You can make an argument that the referee really shouldn't have turned over the fumble recovery by him. I don't really know what he saw there to do that, but you can't make those mistakes. You got to hold on to the football. Max Brown, people calling for Max Brown to be more involved. You can really still tell that he's still trying to get it. Couple of bad passes by him, a couple of good things. He did a couple of good things, but there was a couple of really, really dangerous throws he made. And then good for Michael Leon to get in there and play, and a kid who's had a rough go of it in college. Good for him to finally take some meaningful snaps in the swamp. Good for him to really have a great end to his story thus far.
Yes, sir. All very great points there, CJ. Some things I want to talk about. Obviously, y'all I've already hit on most of it. Guys, this team is so young, but has so many young bright spots coming up. And I know we're not talking about playing, we're not talking about playing Tennessee, Bama, Georgia, somebody like that. This is against McNeese, so take it all with a grain of salt. But these kids did what they should do against an opponent of this nature, and they shined. I mean, the young guys shine, not just the true freshman. Jamari Lyons, while in the game, whenever he was in the game, was getting great penetration, including the safety that he got. That's a redshirt freshman. Looked great. TJ Searcy, once again, when he's in the game, making tackles, making plays. Kelby Collins, when he's in the game, making plays. Bryce Thornton, a kid that came on late in the recruiting cycle, was a 3-star, but Bama was very interested in this young man out of Alpharetta, Georgia. Laying the boom, and we need our young safeties. Him and Castell are the future at safety, and both have looked good in their limited amount of playing time so far. I continue to be absolutely I just love everything Jordan Castell shows so far. I haven't seen him out of position. Every time he's engaged in a tackle, he attacks the ball. With anger, which is what we need that from a safety. I want that. I miss the Keanu Neals and Marcus Mays and guys like that, the Reggie Nelsons, the safeties that would knock your head in the dirt. We need that kind of mentality back. Got to see Aiden Mizell get his first action. Andy Jean in the game, even though he's still recovering from a knee tweak. So, I mean, you saw a lot of guys get to play, which is what you want to see against an opponent like this. But then you got to see a lot of guys that are kind of, banged up after the first game get to rest and not have to worry about maybe playing in this game. I do worry that Ricky is getting targeted a little too much. Ricky's he took a lot of unnecessary shots in this game. I would like to see Graham maybe not scramble against McNeese State and take a hit. Certain things like that. And I know that's, I'm sure as soon as he got the sideline, coach is like, not in this game, baby. We don't need that. But that's he's being a gamer. And part of me understands it. Like, you can't take that out of the kid's mentality, Like CJ said, I'd like to see Boardingham get included a little bit more. I'd like to see the tight end. I remember last year the impact that Zipper had against Tennessee. And with Tennessee coming to town, I'd like to see the tight ends get more involved. Props to Jonathan Odom for being out there playing, still 9 months removed from an ACL tear. But he looks like he's like a snowman running. I mean,
he looks like he's 9 months removed from an ACL there.
He looks like he's not supposed to be running anymore. Like, it's just
he's laboring.
It's hard to watch.
He's laboring down the field, lumbering and laboring, both.
You had the drop by Xanders. Xanders is what he is. I mean, I'm not going to try to sugarcoat and say that this kid's got some huge upside at tight end. He doesn't. He's a blocking tight end. And no one's probably more upset than him that he lost an opportunity to catch a touchdown. I mean, you can't ever have that taken away from you. If you have a touchdown in the books, it's forever. But but lots of good things. Jaden Robinson got a tackle. It was in there later in the game. I really, and Wes hit on it, I'm really just excited about the linebacker core as a whole. They look fired up, man. Shamar James is all conference, if not better. He's the best linebacker to me that we've had here in quite a while. And that's no detraction from Ventrell Miller and what Ventrell brought to the table. Shamar's just a different kind of athlete. Like, he's that kind of dude, man. Like, to be that young and to be all over the place. He's a leader already. You can see it. Caleb Banks got some good play. All these guys they did what they were supposed to do. Not, like I said, not going to sit here and try to pump up a victory over McNeese State to be anything more than it is. But it's good to see these young guys, man, doing the thing. The defense has just been fantastic, and they're going to get a test next week. We'll talk about this just for a brief second, and then we'll save the rest for our show in the week where we, kind of talk about what we expect versus Tennessee. But, Joe Milton looked very Joe Milton-ish yesterday against an inferior opponent. And Tennessee didn't do the same things against an inferior opponent that we did. Now, I don't study Austin Peay's strength of schedule and how good they are. I just know that Tennessee put up more points against Virginia than they did against Austin Peay.
Virginia lost to James Madison yesterday.
All right. See, Virginia might be really bad. Look, Joe Milton coming on the road. The Swamp's going to get loud. People are going to be hyped up after this victory did what it was supposed to do. It puts the fan base in a good spot coming into a huge rivalry game in the Swamp. It'll be sold out. It'll be loud. It'll be a night game. It'll be crazy. The team worked on the fundamental things they needed to work on. They came out of the game, as far as we know, fairly healthy. I haven't heard of anybody, we didn't see any injuries or hear about any. And the guys that were injured coming in got to rest. We should probably, hopefully, get Kingsley back for the Tennessee game. So, your offensive line is looking good. I did see at one point in the second quarter that Damian George was playing left tackle, and I do not know the reason why that was. I don't know if Barber got hurt. I don't know if Barber maybe got a little punished for the unsportsmanlike, offsetting off sportsmanlike penalties he got. Maybe they They yanked him for a series. I really was just kind of focused in on watching us run the ball down their throats, which is what we should have done. So all good things, all what we wanted to see out of this game. We all predicted that all three of us predicted we'd score 40 points. All three of us predicted 10 points or less allowed. So we did what we thought, we would do. So good job to the coaching staff. All of them except Chris Couch. You don't get it. It doesn't matter what we do. If we blocked 3 field goals, I still wouldn't give you credit.
I don't know. I might. It depends who we're playing.
I'm being very sarcastic when I say that because I know we ain't blocking no field goals.
We ain't blocking no field goals. We ain't
Right
blocking
now,
no
I just want to concentrate on making field goals and extra point. Like I made a tweet during the game. At this point, we ought to just go straight to the kickoff after we score a touchdown because it's just
I'll go for 2.
Just go for 2 every time.
Hell, we went for 2 and that didn't work either. Like I was just, that's when we got the penalty on the pick on the. Oh my Lord! It's just like but that was a freshman mistake. Well, no, you see people getting called for that rub route, getting called, for picks all the time. So, but y'all mentioned that too. Trey Wilson is just going to be phenomenal. The more ways that they get the ball in that young man's hands, he's just going to put up numbers all year. And it's going to be interesting. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see all the different ways they get him involved. The little reverse play they ran with Graham was very cool to see. And I think that's where you're going to see Russ Callaway having a little bit more impact in the offense as well as he's kind of involved with Billy as coming up with some extra plays. It'll be fun to see what they pull out versus Tennessee. I mean, it's that time you got to do whatever you got to do to get that win next week, and the fan base is going to be hungry for it, man. I know y'all are. I am too. Well, we're not supposed to lose to Tennessee, and let alone twice in a row. So Billy's going to have some pressure on him next week, and rightfully so. It's you've got to beat a rival. So we'll talk about that more in this week coming up. Make sure y'all check that out. Guys, y'all got anything to add before we jump out?
No, I think that's pretty much it.
Well, guys, enjoy your NFL Sunday, man. Go cheer for your favorite team. Rise up, Falcons. CJ's got his pack hat on. I know Wes is waiting on those Commanders to break out this year and have a great defense.
Damn how, baby.
All right, guys. Well, enjoy this victory Sunday. Enjoy your NFL team, guys. Stay safe. Enjoy your family. And we'll catch you this week with our show, and we'll talk about Tennessee and all these visitors coming to town. But until then, guys, go Gators.
Go Gators.
Go Gators.